So, over the last 80 years, since the end of World War II, whether you agree with it or not, whether you think it's a good thing or not, the United States is the last real superpower. I mean, there's China and there's Russia, but, Russia has the GDP of like Texas or something. But they have a lot of nuclear weapons. It's like I'm constantly hearing conflicting reports that China's entire economy is about to crash, or they're going to take over the United States place at number one. So who knows? I don't know. But over the last 80 years, the world has made itself very United States centric as far as things like global stability, economically, things along those lines. And I was thinking about the nuclear deterrent factor yesterday, nuclear weapons. And I was thinking about Europe, and it's like all these other countries that have basically relied on, whether it's through NATO or through treaties with other countries or just norms, other countries that, depend on the United States for that capability, that kind of nuclear weapon capability when they're staring down China or staring down Russia. And I'm thinking about Ukraine and Taiwan and Europe in general. And so I looked up countries that currently have nuclear weapons: Russia, United States, China, France, United Kingdom, Pakistan, India, Israel, North Korea. And I was just thinking, it's like, so with what Trump is doing with Europe and NATO, and what he's signaling, our capitulation to Vladimir Putin and Russia, are other countries going to start developing their own nuclear weapons programs? We know Iran has been working towards that. But are there going to be other countries in Europe? Is there going to be a proliferation of nuclear weapons? What about Australia, And just thinking about this kind of collapse of in a United States-centric world order. And then, you think about imperialism and all kinds of things like that. And so then I came across an essay this morning by this guy, Ryan Cooper. He's with the American Prospect, which I don't know what that is. But he wrote an article that the thesis is that MAGA is leading the dumbest imperial collapse in history. It was interesting. It was an interesting read. He makes the case that the post-World War II empire, American empire, is collapsing, and that Trump and his sociopathic minions have already done irreparable damage to longtime alliances throughout Europe, including Canada, Mexico, South Korea. Ryan Cooper also, obviously acknowledges that the whole world history of empires is one of, rise and fall, but that this is the first time that we've seen an empire collapse in this way. It's completely different way. It's intentional, and it's intentionally self-inflicted, the isolationism. And so I want to read a couple of paragraphs in this. Trump and Musk are blowing America's imperial foundations to kingdom come. Take USAID, which was the largest distributor of humanitarian aid throughout the world. It has done a tremendous amount of good work, and it has also served as a carrot for America's global predominance, as opposed to a stick like nuclear weapons or the military. America's global predominance until now. The agency has been all but dismantled, unleashing havoc all over the globe. HIV and drug-resistant tuberculosis are now spreading unchecked in many countries. that had been reliant on U.S. aid medication, both proving that America cannot be trusted and threatening outbreaks of those diseases within the United States itself. It's this lack of trust that Cooper adds that will completely destroy the imperial architecture the United States has spent decades building so that it could become the most powerful nation on the planet, which, we were just a few months ago. He continues, the lesson is clear. America cannot be trusted, and all of its former allies should start preparing for the worst, including developing their own nuclear deterrence in case of war with the United States itself. Some reserve currency replacement must be found, and new supply chains not reliant on the United States need to be set up. Crash military buildups must be carried out to replace American security guarantees. You'd be a fool to rely on any American promises whatsoever, especially ones made by Trump or Musk. These men lie as easily as they breathe. So in those last couple sentences, crash military buildups must be carried out to replace American security guarantees. Apparently, as part of the proposed deal that was leaked that Trump wants to negotiate with Russia, is the United States pulling all of its troops out of the Baltic nations. Hang on one second. So there are like, I don't know, 200 countries on the planet, 190, something like that. Total nations on the planet. The United States has 750 military bases in at least 80 countries. Again, whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, whether you agree with it or not, that's like the level of dominance that the United States has around the planet. And Donald Trump is torpedoing that right now. He's threatened to pull U.S. military troops out of Germany. He's threatened to explicitly withdraw us from NATO. And, we're just going to see a really dramatic reshaping of the world order under Donald Trump, whether the rest of the world likes it or not. And it's destabilizing, and it's frightening, and it's uncertain, and nobody has any idea what the hell is going to happen next. But you can guarantee that Iran is going to take advantage of that Xi Jinping in China is going to take advantage of that Vladimir Putin is going to take advantage of that, North Korea is going to take advantage of all of this. Nobody is expecting the consequences from all of this stuff to be positive. I'll put it that way. It's frightening stuff to think about.